What's up everybody, it's Cjplays here, and I'm back with another CJ Fix My Build video. Usually when I do these kind of videos, y'all know I tend to just kind of like go step by step and I have the camera on. But y'all, it is so hot outside here. Like, I know like a lot of places are having a big heat wave. It is so hot outside, okay? It is like 96 degrees. I think it's gonna be 97 degrees today, and I am burning up. So I was like, I don't really want to be on camera today, and I don't really think y'all mind, right? Like, just cut me some slack. Literally, let me know in the comment section down below, how hot or cold is it where you are? I'm from America, so 96 degrees is very, very hot. We're under like a extreme heat advisory right now. In my area, so like, yeah, very hot. Aside from that though, I am fixing a build for one of my viewers named Electronics, or I guess Rat Pat, and Electronics has been saving up CJ points for a really long time, and she was finally able to redeem it for me to fix her Sims build. Now, if you're like, CJ, what are CJ points? What are you talking about? So if some of y'all don't know, I am a Twitch streamer. I stream 5 days a week over on Twitch, Monday to Friday, and I also stream from 7 Eastern Standard Time or 7 p.m. till around 11 o'clock. So usually I stream Sim stuff over there, but I also do stream other games from time to time. At the time of me recording this video, I'm literally doing Variety Week on my stream, so I'm doing like anything that is just not Sims. But basically, the more you watch a Twitch streamer, you'll get like channel points over time, and they're just like little like stream currency. It's not real money, but like the more you watch, the more points you get, and then you can redeem those points for certain things. So for example, I have one that reminds me to drink water or to save my game, you know? And I also have one that I added not long ago that is CJ Fix My Build, which I think it's like 90,000 CJ points, and you redeem it and then you send me your build or tell me what to download your build, and then I fix it. So I've done a lot of these videos before. I have a whole entire playlist of me fixing my subscribers' builds. So if you want to see any of the other ones, I'm going to leave those linked down below. I have some for Sims 3. I have some for The Sims 4. I don't think I have a Sims 2 one yet, but I definitely do have one for 3 and 4. So feel free to watch those if you would like to. But y'all, this house is, and I don't mean this in a bad way, Electronics. This house is bad. And Electronics said it herself, so I don't even feel bad saying it, because at least she said it, okay? But this house is bad, y'all. So, for one, it's intentionally supposed to be bad because I don't know if you'll see it in the video, but at the very bottom of the house, there's a big, gigantic maze. And I think it's supposed to be one of those things where it's like, the house is supposed to be intentionally hard to maneuver, where like, if you want to go from one room to the next, you have to go through the basement, and it's like a really big maze. And I was told by Electronics to not touch the basement, so I didn't change anything. So if you download this build and you're like, CJ, you missed a room, no, I was told not to touch it. All I did was the exterior, the first floor, and the second floor, and that was it. So yeah, if you want to change it, I guess you can. But like, as you have seen so far, I've changed a lot of the house. It was a red brick house with some really interesting roofing. However, I did not even have enough brain power today to just even try to fix the roof, so I was like, let's just go for like no roof and we'll just use half walls. So I kind of went with a more like modern aesthetic with this house. It's not like a super modernized house, but it has like a lot of modern touches, if that makes sense. Like, you could tell maybe this was like, you know, like a older house that was kind of renovated. As you can see now, I'm just kind of doing some landscaping. I'm using a lot of stuff from base game because Electronics was like, CJ, I only have 3 packs. Of course the base game, but she also has backyard stuff and blooming rooms. Wait, so I guess that's like 2, not 3. Anyway, she only had a couple packs. She was like, CJ, please just try to use base game. So the majority of this build is base game, so I'd imagine everyone should be able to download it. However, I did use some stuff from the backyard stuff pack and from the blooming rooms kit. So if you don't have those 2 packs, you should be okay though. You know, it's just like a stuff pack and a kit. But yeah, just know that I did use some of those objects, primarily stuff like rugs from backyard stuff and plants from blooming rooms. So it's not the end of the world, like I said, if you don't have it, but just know that I did use those 3 things. And by the way, if you do want to download this build, it will be up on the gallery. My gallery ID is Seekingly. It's the same name as my Twitch name. I will put it up on the screen so you can see, and I'll also have it in the description down below if you want to just get it later or whatever. So according to Discord, I had The Sims 4 open for 3 hours. However, the footage for this video was only an hour because I had to keep pausing everything to kind of like do stuff off camera, because that was like a lot of stuff, y'all, that you didn't even see. There was a lot of things I had to change. So in all, I'm gonna say about like 3-ish hours, probably a little bit more. But yeah, it took all day, but I really love the way it turned out, and I really hope you like it too, Electronics. So the first room that we kind of start in is the, I guess, foyer. So as you can see, I deleted a lot of the stuff that was here. And also too, y'all, there were so many objects in this house that my game lagged. I don't know if you could tell it because the footage was sped up, but y'all, it got to the point where I had to pause my recording and I literally thought my game had crashed. But it didn't. It just was trying to load up all the stuff. At first, before I started recording, I wanted to kind of like bulldoze the house and replace it down. The game didn't even like load. I had to basically restart the whole game. This house is massive and it has so many objects. Electronics, I really want to know, did your game crash when you built this house? Or like, did it lag when you built this? Cause like mine was lagging. I did reduce a lot. As you can see, I deleted a lot of stuff. So it should be good now. But for the foyer, I kind of kept some of the same stuff. Like that bookshelf, for example. I did add some more pictures and stuff like that as well. I'm using some of those plants from the Blooming Rooms kit. For the living room, I kind of felt bad because I feel like I de-yassified it. It looked so nice and it had all this cool stuff in here, like the game corner and everything, but I kind of de-yassified it and I kind of made it look a lot more basic. I sometimes feel like whenever I do these build videos, like the front of the house end up looking different from like the rest of the house. Cause like if you look at the other rooms, a lot of the other rooms in the house are darker. They have like a blue or a blackish color scheme. And then we have like this really beige living room. I thought about going back and changing it, but I kind of liked it. So I kept it. It took me a while to settle on a wallpaper for this room anyway. So you'll see it throughout the video. It changes. I knew that I wanted to have an accent wall in here though. So we have the brick, and then I'm using these couches from base game. These are like the modernized ones. Whenever I see these, I just kind of get reminded that The Sims 4 is kind of old. It's been around for like 11 years almost. So like these couches to me just scream 2014. Like it's just, I don't know, it's just the energy. So this room did have a card table, so I did keep it in here just to kind of give your Sims some stuff to do. Because again, this house is primarily base game, and y'all know there is just not that much stuff in the base game. So I did keep that card table. I also kept the TV and the stereo. Of course, like the chairs are different, the coffee table is different, and I did use that little nook space in the corner to put a bar, and I also put a fireplace because I was like, why not? I didn't realize that this house already had a fireplace in the other room, so there's 2 fireplaces in this house. Actually, no, there is one. There was going to be 2, but I deleted it, so there is just one now. And then I'm also using this bar from the base game. This is one of the new bars that we got a couple months ago, which I gotta say, y'all, I love that kitchen set. If you didn't know, the Sims 4 base game got an update maybe like, I don't know, like 3-4 months ago, or it was earlier this year sometime. And we have a new kitchen set, basically. We have new countertops, we have new floors, new tiles, and I love them so much. I didn't use the new countertops today, but I did use that bar because I really like the way it looks, y'all. Like, it's so good. That's like one of the best things they put in the game, in my opinion. I also added a Lindsay speaker in the living room too, just so you could have one more thing to do. And then now we move on to, I guess, like the dining area. So I raised the foundation up in this section, so there's a lot of split leveling in this house. You'll see. I really gotta say, y'all, that I love this section of the house because it turned out so good. So like I said, there is some split leveling, so this whole middle section is up on a platform, and then I also use these freezes to kind of have like a nice little beam across the top of it. You'll see that I did that a lot for this house. We have like walk-in closets that have it. Like I use this pretty much everywhere in this house, but this was like the first instance of it, and I think it looks so cool. I actually like this hallway section electronics, so I didn't really change too much. I kept the table, I kept the chairs, I didn't change the wallpaper and stuff. I really like that rug as well, so I kept the rug. A lot of the things in this house, you'll see that I just kind of keep some of the same things, but I changed the color of them just to kind of match with the surroundings a little bit more. Now, these windows right here, you can see the swimming pool. I think I get rid of them. I can't remember, but I think I got rid of those windows. Or at least if I kept those windows, I got rid of the ones that you can see from the kitchen because I didn't really like them in every room. Even some of the bedrooms upstairs, they have windows and you can kind of see where the pool is, and I don't know. I feel like that's cool, but I just didn't like it from like, I guess, a realistic standpoint. Like I would hate to be in my room and I just look out my window and I see someone swimming around in a swimming pool. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's no privacy with that. Like, yeah, in The Sims they don't really care, but like in real life I would hate that so bad. So yeah, I did end up getting rid of those windows though. So yeah, there's no windows there. I did add some on the other side of this wall. As you can see, there's like a lot of entrances to the basement. So like I said, I didn't touch anything with the basements. I did maybe draw a couple of walls here and there just to kind of help with the room layout, but I did not touch any of the stairs down below, and I didn't touch any of the stuff down below either. So I also did keep this really big piano over here on the edge of the hallway. I at first was going to delete it and I was going to put a keyboard, but I thought about the fact that the keyboard, I believe, is from City Living, and electronics doesn't have that pack, I don't think. So I just kept the piano from the base game. It works just the same. I did get rid of that other fireplace that was over here, and then I also added a little plant. And then I realized when I was finished with this room that there is a bathroom that's attached to this little section. So I did go back and add like a little door over here by that beam. And then as as for the kitchen, I realized that I needed more space, so luckily I was able to tear down one of those walls. This house overall, it kind of reminds me of a lot of my old Sims houses, if that makes sense, because like I used to build these really big houses back in the day, and I had a hard time furnishing them because I didn't really know what to do, and I didn't know how to make them look right. And I feel like that's like a really common Sim thing, or like a Simmer thing, I would say, because sometimes when I mention this on stream, a lot of people like, yeah, CJ, like I have a big issue with that. Like I'll have these big houses and it'll take all day to furnish, or I don't know how to furnish it because it's too big. So I always say that if you have issues with a Sims house and you're trying to build it, maybe try making it smaller if it's not already small, because I feel like it's easier to furnish if you have a smaller space. I know sometimes smaller is not always better with a Sims build, depending on what you're trying to build, but a lot of the times you'll see that it might actually help you a lot. So I'd always say that. And then also too, like there's so many different little side rooms in this build. You'll see that I tear down so many walls, y'all. I either tear down walls or I make new little nook spaces. There's just so much space in this house. And again, electronics already knows this, so I'm not like trying to be mean or anything like that, but there's just like so many little compartments, little nook spaces. There is this little weird bump out like wall in the middle of the kitchen, but I kind of liked it, so I didn't get rid of it though. But I did get rid of those windows, and then I'm also adding a table over here in the kitchen just in case your Sims might need one for something, you know, you never really know. There was also a bar in the kitchen, so I kept that as well, and then I added like this really nice painting behind it. And then I realized that there was like a little office space over here, so what I ended up doing was I tore down the wall. At first I was gonna have like a little beam to go over the wall, but I didn't really like it. So what I ended up doing was just tearing down the wall altogether to kind of make this one big room. And then I ended up adding a couple of half walls just to kind of separate the space a little bit. But in all, I really like this little office space. It does lead down to the basement, but I think the end result looks a lot better. I also like that little inspirational poster with the bear on it, so I did keep it. I did keep the computer, I kept the chair, and I kept some of the clutter, but I did swap out the desk completely. I also added a different bookshelf down here just to kind of have one that looks a little bit different. I also added this oval rug down below. And then now we come back to that bathroom I was telling y'all about. So like I did not realize this bathroom was here until I looked a little bit closer, because again there's like so many different compartments, you know, and it's easy to miss stuff. So for this bathroom, this one is functional. I did delete quite a bit. So for one, I made this bathroom a little bit bigger, so I was able to squeeze a shower in the corner. There is a door that's right beside it, but it should still work because it's the Sims 4, and Sims in the Sims 4, they're pretty good about like maneuvering tight spaces, so this should still work. And then I also added a couple of those fancy modern countertops in here, and then I added the little angled pieces too just to kind of round it off. There is also a mirror. I have that sink in here. I also added this really cool wallpaper. It has the leaves on it, and I don't think I've ever really used this swatch color before. I always end up using like the green one, but I quite like this white and black one. I think I have to use this a little bit more now. And then now we move to the upstairs section, y'all. I deleted a lot of those weirdly shaped angled walls, and I kind of felt bad because the nursery is basically a lot smaller, and I feel like the baby is sleeping in a shoebox. But like, to be fair, I wanted the hallway to be like more even, so I kind of felt bad. So again, electronics, if you need to make that nursery a little bit bigger, feel free to. Oh, I did also add those big double doors from the base game. One kind of like, I guess, advantage of this house being on a medium wall height is that I was able to use some of these really tall doors that I don't really use that much. I just wish that we had more tall and medium height windows. That's something that I noticed also when I was doing that Enzoy build video, is that like there's a couple medium and tall wall height windows in that game, but there's not like a lot, and a lot of the ones in that game and in this game, they're like modern, which is nice, but like, I don't know, I just feel like we need more. I understand if they can't make every window, you know, fit for all the wall heights, but like, at least give us some more options, I think, you know? Because like, I never use tall or medium wall height when I build ever. I feel like sometimes no matter what you put in a room, if it's on like a tall wall height or medium wall height, I feel like sometimes it's like no matter what you put in the room and how much stuff you put, it just feels like the room is still empty, you know? And I think that's just because a lot of the objects in the game were not made with like tall and medium wall height in mind. So like, you'll end up putting like a normal size painting and it looks like a little baby painting, you know, on the wall. So maybe in the future we'll get more objects that fit on the other wall heights, because like we have lights and we have doors and we have windows, and of course you can size up and size down objects in the game. Even when you do that, as some of y'all know, even when you size up or size down certain objects, they don't really look right, or you can't really get them at the perfect size. So maybe in the future, I don't know, we'll get like an update or something so we can get like better things for the different wall heights. We have a couple curtains for the different wall heights, but we don't have that many, and y'all, we really need more because I had to size up a lot of the curtains from the base game just to fit on these windows. So like, that is something that I think we need really, really soon. I don't know if they're gonna do it, but I hope the Sims team, if anyone's listening, please, can we get more blinds and or curtains that fit on like the medium windows and the tall windows, because I think we have a couple, but like, yeah, even when you size some of them up, they don't really look that good. So I think we need like more. That's just my opinion. But we move on to this bedroom. Now this bedroom is kind of special because it has access to the balcony in the front of the house. So I knew for a fact that I wanted to have like some sliding doors here just so your Sims can maneuver. And then also this room has a really big bathroom that's attached to it. Now I'm not gonna lie, I was a little intimidated when it came to that bathroom because I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, I wanted to kind of use some of the original ideas that Electronics had, you know, because I wanted this to kind of still feel like her build and not just like my build that I changed completely. Even though I kind of did change it, I kind of wanted to have like some original ideas here and there, you know, just so you can see some of the callbacks. So for example, the balcony, I kept the balcony because the original house had a balcony. I just kind of made it more like rounded, you know. I wanted it to be even with the first little like platform on the first floor. So you'll see when we come to the bathroom, y'all, I was like, bro, I don't know what to do. And then I noticed that Electronics used this really big fountain in the bathroom, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, I'm like, maybe I should delete it, but I was like, no, CJ, keep the fountain. You know what? It's so random and it's so big. So I was like, maybe we can keep the fountain. And as you can see, that flooring in the bathroom was interesting. It reminded me of something that you would see in The Sims 3 back in the day, but I did end up changing it, unfortunately. And I kind of went with like a green, I don't know, like a nature kind of vibe in the bathroom. You'll see that since Electronics has the Blooming Rooms kit, I was able to use some of those like leaf curtains in the game, and I never used those, y'all. I kind of like how they look, but I kind of don't like how they look, so I'd never really used them, but I felt like this was the perfect chance to use it, you know, because I needed something to kind of fill up some space. So I'm using some of those. I used some of those hanging plants from that pack as well. I changed the wallpaper to be like a more green color scheme, and then I saw that Electronics kind of had like the tub in the shower kind of like be its own like little private space. So what I decided to do was I put the shower and the tub on a platform. I feel like when you do stuff like this, it helps the room feel more filled in, and it makes it look kind of unique. So we have this tub over here on the platform. I have that big fountain over there in the corner, and I'm using some half walls in some of these steps right here just to kind of make it look more fancy. And then I did go back and I added some of this like brick tile over here just to make it look better, and I do delete some of those plants, but I do swap them out for some different ones. I also added a little beam over here by the shower, and I also added that on the platform too. I also put some of those steps there too. I couldn't put the steps all the way across because of like how the room was, but there are some steps on both of these. And then these are those leaf curtains I was telling y'all about. Because I feel like this is one of those kind of builds where you have to kind of like just trust the process and trust that it'll turn out really good, you know? So Electronics use this room divider for, I guess, the shower. So I did use it. It did also help fill in some space. And then I ended up putting the toilet right behind it. I do go back and I add some of those base game countertops in here. I'm using some of these towel racks. I use 2 of them, and I size one of them down just so they can look a little bit different. I also add that horizontal mirror in here as well. And then I added like a little stool over here by the tub with a little Lindsay speaker on it. You know, imagine your Sims listening to music while they're taking a bath. And then we have this little bathroom over here in the middle. I guess this is like the more general bathroom. So I add a door here so your Sims can actually access it from the hallway, because otherwise your Sims will have to access this from the basement. And you know, you can still do that if you want, but maybe if your Sims are in a rush and they really have to use the bathroom, you know, maybe you could just have this other door be here. I didn't really change too much for this bathroom. I just kind of like swapped the color scheme around a little bit. So I changed the wallpaper. I swapped out those sinks for the rounded ones from the base game. And I added a couple different paintings in here, but I didn't really change too much in this bathroom. So this bathroom just has like a shower tub combo, and it has a toilet and stuff. So if you play here and you have a family or like a toddler or an infant, you can use that shower tub combo to give them a bath, you know. And then now we move on to this nursery, and again, I apologize. I feel so bad for the baby that has to sleep in here because it is so small, but maybe when they age up, you know, they can move into the other bedrooms. But it is big enough for a, I guess, single bed if they get older. So, you know, it's functional. It's just really small. I didn't really like having these 2 big windows right here by the hot tub, so I got rid of them and I added just a small square one just to let a little bit of natural light in here. I also keep the wallpaper, and I kind of like the orange blue color scheme anyway, so I kept it. I kept those dinosaur decals and the cloud decals. I do get rid of a lot of them though, but I do keep a couple. I keep the baby mobile. I moved that high chair downstairs in the kitchen because I feel like that would make more sense for it, you know, to be up there versus like up here. And then I also use that toy box from the base game as well. And then I wanted to put a chair in the nursery, but I realized that there wasn't enough room for it. So there is no chair in the nursery, but there is a chair outside of the bedroom door, so you could just use that if you want to. I would have loved to put a rocking chair, but I realized that there's no rocking chair in the base game. But you can always add one if you have a pack that comes with it. And then I realized that for the upstairs part, we have this weird hallway section, and it kind of leads to the kids' rooms. I don't think I show it in the video, but I do go back off camera, and I changed the wallpaper for the hallway to make it more like bright and colorful. I add a Blarfy in the hallway, and then at first I added a toy box. I also moved the dollhouse from this bedroom in the hallway, but I moved it back to the bedroom off camera because I didn't want your sim to not be able to use it. And then I'm also using a really bright, colorful runner in the hallway too, just to kind of like bring some more color here, you know. We now move on to the kids' bedroom, which I really like, but I did want to kind of get rid of that walk-in closet because I kind of felt like it was a little bit too much for this room. This room is big, but I feel like it was not that big to kind of have a walk-in closet, so I kind of got rid of it. But what I ended up doing was I added a little beam in the corner and I put a mirror, so maybe that could kind of, you know, be like a smaller walk-in closet. So even though the dresser isn't in there, you can still use the mirror and pretend that it's like a walk-in closet. But I didn't really change that much in this kid's room. I did move the bed over in the corner. I kept the desk, and I just kind of mainly just recolored stuff in here. I kind of liked it. I did add some curtains from the base game with the stars on them, but I didn't really change too much in this bedroom. I mean, electronics did a really good job with the furnishing, so I didn't really need to change that much. If anything, I just added onto it, so I'm adding some of those shelves from the base game. I moved some of those lights around. I got rid of some of those other decals, but I like the ones with the hot air balloons, so I did use those in here. Oh, and I also added a couple of book bags in here too, just to kind of have some. All right, and now we move on to the last bedroom. So I'm assuming this is like one for a teenager, you know, or maybe like a young adult. So I didn't really change a lot in this one either. All I really did was just add some windows. Again, I don't really like having windows right here to a swimming pool, but I wanted to let some natural light in, so you know, I put some curtains in here, and like I was saying, you know, it was kind of hard trying to use those because like they didn't really fit for the window, so I'm using some of the ones from the base game and they still don't quite fit, but just don't look too close at it, you know. I'm trying my best. But for this room, I really just kind of like rearrange some stuff here and there, delete some stuff, size some stuff down. This room had a walk-in closet also, so I'm just using a beam instead of a door for the walk-in closet. But in all, that is pretty much it, y'all, for the entire house. The only thing I did next was just go in the backyard, and for the backyard, I added a swimming pool. I added the pool slide from the backyard stuff pack. We have a little grill in the backyard if you want to eat out back there. We have a couple lounge chairs as well, and I do a little bit of landscaping just to kind of make it look more nice. I do also add some landscaping, and I also added a little monkey bar back there as well. But in the end, that's pretty much it, y'all, for the entire build. I hope everyone likes this build, especially electronics. Like, please let me know what you think about it down below. If you want to download this build, like I said earlier, it is going to be up on the gallery. My gallery ID is Seekingly. It's the same exact name as my Twitch name, so I'll put it up on the screen again if you want to just see it. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video. Also, like I said, if you want to see me fix some more of my subscribers' builds, I have a whole playlist, so I'll leave the playlist link down below as well. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Thanks for watching!